Alright. Hello everyone. Welcome back. We're playing this game again. Isn't that crazy? And what's also crazy is that this category is actually kind of fun. I actually want to do the speedrun. But I want to do something else first. Let's go on a little trip. See if I actually... Oh, never mind. I don't. There's like some way to do this room that was faster than the way that I did it. Like maybe chaining multiple roll pounces. Mr. Speed. Yep. Whoops, I'm bad. Like, what even happened? I looked away and I was up there and I fell down. I don't think I want to karma cache. I might just do this normally. There's like some red lizards in this area. Or you. And the outskirts of music is playing. That's nice. Okay, we'll get a karma flower. Such an annoying spot for a karma flower to be when you can't stab it. Or as Spearmaster when you're trying to stab it, you know. Actually, if I want a lot of food, I should go over here, right? I guess that counts. Yeah, I'm tracking the vulture's position. Yeah. Stay right there, actually. Cool. Thank you. Do I care about the mask? Oh, you're a centipede. I guess I'll go without the mask for now. I can pretty much just shelter. I think I am going to shelter immediately. Like I could probably stab like some droplets a few times for some easy food. Then I'm just gonna shelter, get to industrial. Do I want to go to pipe yard? No, I don't think so. I think I'll go to chimney. So if I just sit here, food will arrive to me. Delivery. there's the food, and we just sleep. That's 2 less food pits I need next cycle. A little bit better than 5. Do I want to do dragon skip? I mean, I should try it, right? Nice. This explosive spear down there, drop egg. Probably be making more spears. It's not wasting my time. I mean, it's not a big deal. Really, it's not. Oh yeah, there's popcorn right here. I forget the what I do for this. Oh, this guy doesn't know. Okay, I can't map spear. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Okay, you just kind of made that easy for me. It would be kind of funny if I went through pipe yard. There's like a ton of centipedes, but you know, Spearmaster likes to eat centipedes, you know. Oh, that's a dropper carrying the I think. There we go. I'm also gonna stab you because why not? Oh, the dropper is still alive. How did you live that? I just stabbed them straight up. So nostalgic. Oh man, I really miss doing this. It's fine. I'm not doing a speedrun. I might actually want to slow down a little bit. But that was a cyan. Yeah, whatever. Oh. Hey. Okay, I could have stabbed that cyan. Whoa, what was that? Why was that such a short jump? Hi, white wizard. I entered the room and I stabbed them in the face and they did not notice. Or they do not care enough to do anything about it. Hello? I also considered the possibility that they just died, or they were dead already. I don't like this guy. I guess he's not possible to get past. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Red Lizard, for the attempt. Oh man, there's so many modded Slugcats that I've not interacted with at all. Eventually one of these spears will hit. I was just kind of messing around with throwing angles. I wasn't actually trying to hit anything. Nice nice background layer right here. Goodbye. Okay, I mean the spear can actually help there. There's a lizard. Dramatic music. Okay, I got lucky. I guess I'll score run for a little bit. Let's get some points. Oh, he turned around. There you go. Maybe I can kill some vultures up in Chimney. I mean, I know that room over there in Industrial. That one usually has vultures in it. Well, I'm not sheltered. I probably should have taken a shelter at some point. I'll take this one though. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Oh, can I do this? I gotta try this. Nice. I really wish there was a more efficient. This is completely unrelated, by the way. I really wish there was a more efficient process. For oh wow, that's a lot of kills. For recording a clip and then like uploading it, because that's what I have done a bit recently for submitting some speedruns that I've done. That's a lot of Dragon Slayer progress too. Because I did a bunch of like Monk Pebbles % runs a while ago. And then I did a bunch of, Rivulet Moon % runs, which I'm going to continue to do today. But the whole process is so annoying. I have to record it locally, ideally. If I don't record it, I have to go to the stream and download the VOD, which takes forever because it's a huge file, right? It's like 3 hours long. Yeah, this is totally Rivulet. I have to then take that and then cut it down to the actual clip that is the run, edit it down, cut off all the unnecessary bits so that it's just the run, and then upload that to YouTube, which also takes a while. So there's like, how many different steps are there of like taking the VOD and then downloading and then editing and then uploading it? It'd be nice if there was just a way to like, I mean, on Twitch actually, it is convenient on Twitch. Because you just need to take a segment of your stream and highlight it. Basically say highlight from here to there, and then you highlight it, and then bam, there's a video. You can post a link on speedrun.com to submit your run. Except Twitch is stupid and putting a limit on the amount of video or the amount of hours of highlights you can have on your channel. I think it's like 100 hours or something like that, or maybe it's like using some other metric to limit it. But you have a limited amount of storage space on your channel for highlights, which really sucks for speedrunners who use that feature to archive their runs, right? Or just for like speedrun.com. Like, what if like some world record, there's potential for a lot of world records to be just deleted because of that limit on Twitch. So that when you go onto speedrun.com to check the history, like, oh, what's the world record for this run, or what was the world record this long ago, you'll check and oh, it's gone. It's been deleted. Twitch highlights fit to YouTube. I guess you can. I think there's some way to like upload a Twitch VOD to YouTube automatically, or maybe not automatically, and you need to do something. I'm not sure. I think there is some process for that. I'm not sure about highlights though, but I guess that is what you would do. But it was convenient to have it all on Twitch. Whoa. Okay, I thought that was hacking me. We're chill. Blue lizard. Interesting routes. Yeah, I'm trying out something new, Oh, I hit the blue again. He's gonna fall. Yeah. There's even more lizards. I stole I stole that guy's food. All the eggs are gone. They're only gonna get one food pit from that egg bug. Whoa! Oops, sorry about that. I wanted to hit the blue lizard. I promise. I still can. I don't know. Maybe there was an angle there or some timing. Why am I playing Spearmaster? Asks no one. Well, I guess maybe you're thinking about it. Why am I playing Spearmaster? I've been thinking about this game a lot, and I want your guys' input. Okay, if you want to stick around for like another 10 minutes, so I can ask you guys some questions, I would appreciate that. Before I get into to the Rivulet stuff, and maybe meadow mode. because I want to try out that, or not meadow mode, but like rain meadow with story mode specifically. This is not a good situation. Now there's a pink lizard involved too. Spearmaster moon percent. I've done a moon percent run of every downpour slug at, except for Artificer, of course, because they can't access moon at all. I was lucky that spear hits. It's an interesting route. It's like part of ooh, I'm suddenly scared of you. It's like partially story percent, but then you like don't have to go to Pebbles, you just head straight to moon and then the run just ends. I guess you also don't need to carry the pearl, right? So you could use like a vulture mask and a grapple worm. Yeah, there's so many modded slug guys out there that I have not touched at all. Because I don't know why I'm scared. These guys don't have spears. He picked up a rock. That guy has spears though. But yeah, I've been thinking about this game because whoa. Yo, new route. New route just dropped. What are you doing, Blue Lizard? You know that there's bigger threats to worry about. Why did you aim in this direction all of a sudden? Yeah, alright, go leave it to food. That's not how pull off. That's not how pull hopping works. Yeah, new vulture skip. That might, well, I don't think any of these situations where that'd be useful for Saint, but you know, Saint can much more easily grab onto vultures and like center wings. Yeah, there's so many of these guys. I'll be leaving now. But I was thinking, we've kind of gotten used to downpour, right? And downpour adds a lot of little details to the world. Explanations for things that maybe weren't made clear in base game, or just we didn't really know anything about or ask questions. So that there's some information that wasn't in base game, but that was added in downpour. But now I'm not entirely sure how much I want to connect base game and downpour. Maybe there's some things that don't line up, and I think that I've. Sorry about that. I think I found something specific that does not line up with base game, which is what we're heading to right now. But there's just a lot of things in the lore that I had assumptions about that were incorrect, or that don't exactly make sense, even after I've been reading through all the dialogue and all the pearls and all that stuff. Maybe I can ask you guys right now. Well, maybe we should wait a little bit. I don't know. We still have to make it over here. Okay, here's one question. For anyone who might know a little bit about the lore, at least. What is the great problem? Lizard. Not a lizard. This is not the great problem. Pretty easy problem, actually. I find it quite simple. Find a way for all creatures to ascend. Okay. Coward. Ugh. Okay, so it seems like they're trying to ascend everything. So including this bugcat right here, including that vulture, including this grass, or these little like fern-looking things, you know. They want to ascend everything. I guess maybe the ancients were so obsessed with ascension that they assumed that the entire rest of the world carried the same desire, right? That's what Pebbles sounds like when he's talking to you, right? They go, everything has the same desire to ascend, and you must. That must be why you're here, right? You little slugcat, you want to ascend, so you have come here looking for answers, for some way, right? Maybe not on purpose, but only the ancients wanted to ascend. So that's the other thing. And this seems to be a more popular belief older. That's not how you say it. Like a while ago, before Downpour, or maybe even before that. An earlier belief, which is what I thought. Because what I thought, the great problem was just trying to find a way to get all the ancients to ascend. Specifically without the Void Sea. Because, you know, if they were looking, why would they make the iterators to find a way to ascend if they already had the Void Sea? And obviously, they've all gone by now. So they all probably went into the Void Sea, right, as their method of ascension. So great, the ancients can ascend, they're all going to leave, and there's no reasons to build massive supercomputers to help them ascend when they already know how to do it. The iterator's desire to ascend everything is just a side effect. So the ancients wanted to ascend, so they made these iterators to help them. But then they're like, you guys aren't really working that well, let's just jump to the Void Sea. And then the iterators were left to be like, well, I guess we'll just ascend everything else then. Ancients were selfish. I want to talk about the lore. That's why I'm playing Speedmaster. Because there's a message here. So okay, that interpretation, I'm gonna call this the echo theory. Should I call it the echo theory or maybe the echo interpretation? This was the way that I believe the lore was. And if you go back, because I was not really in the Rainworld community, I wasn't in any Discord servers or the subreddit or wherever else Rainworld people may have been. I'm not sure. I kind of, you know, joined like 2 years ago when Downpour released. And I started doing like speedruns and stuff. That was my first interaction with the community, and even then it was kind of limited to the speedrunning side of things. And then also like talking to the chat. That is my interactions with the Rainworld community and like what their ideas of the lore might be. But before then, all I knew, you know, I just played Rainworld like, hey, this cool game, right? I'm gonna play this cool game, and I'm curious about it, or you know, I just want to hear people talk about it, so I'm gonna watch these videos about the game. And so the videos that were around were 3 lore videos by 3 different channels. You can go onto YouTube, or maybe not YouTube because the tools are kind of limited. Just go to some search engine and search for Rainworld lore, but then filter the time to be before Downpour released. So that way there's no like Downpour information at all. Messing with things, let's say. Nice lag spike, dude. And what all of these videos say is that the ancients wanted to ascend, but they didn't know how to. Then they found the Void Sea that let them ascend, but some of them became echoes, which scared them. They didn't like the idea of becoming echo and becoming more trapped than they already were. So they built an iterator, and maybe multiple iterators, because the first one didn't work. You know, so they constructed these iterators to solve the problem of how to ascend without becoming an echo, because that was their like greatest fear. You know, they're stuck in this cycle, and you know, the one thing that they want is to get out of the cycle, to escape, and to have some sort of freedom or release or whatever it is, you know. But the one solution that they found, the Void Sea, might turn them into an echo and keep them trapped forever in this sort of limbo, which is like potentially even worse than the cycle that they're already stuck in, right? So it would make sense why you'd want to avoid that, from their perspective at least. But I think in general, I mean, I don't think it's exactly desirable to want to become an echo. So that was what I thought the great problem was, because that's what all these lore videos said. They're not really lore. I guess they're more of just like explaining the story of Rain World kind of things. It's like I didn't want to go and like do all the lore myself, like search for all the pearls and try to piece things together. I don't know. I just didn't think about trying that. I was like, oh, here's a video. Let's watch it. All right. And I'm trying to think. Right. So that was the theory that I believed in. I guess because I watched these videos, I don't really think I came to that conclusion myself, but I thought it made sense. Like, oh, you know, if you play through the game and you try to figure things out yourself, it might seem like a big question. Like, why did the iterators exist? Why is this a thing that seems to be so important for the ancients to have to create these massive supercomputers? Yeah, that's kind of that. I guess that's not really. There's no evidence for this at all in game, but that's my headcanon. They built one iterator, and this one iterator solves a lot of problems. Yeah, sure, but it didn't solve every problem, and it was kind of slow. Like maybe there's some things that they were kind of waiting on. So they're like, okay, you know what? Sure, let's just make more iterators. They'll solve all the problems. And maybe if we want to do like some sort of global thing, you know, global ascension, maybe we're gonna need these iterators to be more spread out. Why do greed decks give 2 food pips? Because they're an area meant for gourmand. So karma is super interesting. Karma is really interesting because I wish I had like more visuals on stream, but I don't really know how to set things up correctly. When you talk to Pebbles as all of the Slugcats in vanilla, they're like, "Oh, I'm the solution that you're looking for. You know, if you want to ascend, I'm here to help. But we haven't found a solution yet. We don't know how to help you ascend. But we know the old path of going to the Void Sea, so you can go there and ascend. And I've given you karma, and I guess the market communication is kind of what they're referring to, but I guess you also get karma at the same time. So Pebbles is like, I've given you the ability to take the old path, right? That is the best that he can help you. But as in Downpour, and let's make that distinction clear. In Downpour, as pretty much all the other characters, he doesn't tell you to ascend, right? For Gourmand, he's like, what is he exactly? Let's be accurate about this. So for Gourmand, we all want a way out, but you are a simple animal ignorantly accepting its existence. You know, Gourmand cares a lot about food, which is like one of the earthly desires that you know, the ancients want to avoid in order to ascend. So Pebbles is basically saying you can't ascend through the Void Sea because you are Karma 4. You know, you are not Karma 10, you are Karma 4, so you can't ascend. I can't help you. I guess the solution then would be finding a way for everyone to ascend regardless of karma level. You know, for all the ignorant animals and the, you know, all the animals trying to survive or whatever they're doing that goes against their, you know, beliefs of what you need to ascend. They can't help that. That is what the big problem is. If the great problem, the big problem, the conundrum, whatever. If that is to try to get everything to ascend, all animals, and you know, maybe also not animals, you know, gas and rocks and bugs and microbes or whatever, then it should be regardless of their karma level or if they even have a karma level, right? Because we know like scavengers do at least. Although I don't think there's any scavengers with max karma. I think they all just go up to 5, right? Except for maybe the Scav King. Let's not think about that. So like, you know, if you need max karma or a gift from an iterator to ascend through the Void Sea, you know, we can't expect every single animal to visit an iterator to be gifted that, right? And even if you did find a way to grant every creature max karma, you can't guide them all to the depths. You can't guide them to the Void Sea unless you, like, just like funnel them. I don't know. It's complicated. That's the problem, right? And when Pebbles talks to Artificer, it's a similar problem, except it's Karma 1, right? I assume you've come here because you want a way out. However, there's little I can do. A primal urge, one that tears from deep inside your very core, keeps you bound here. Even with my divine influence, there's nothing that can be done. So despite what the Iterates have been trying to do for so long, they can't even help Artificer ascend because they're too violent, basically. The Common Centipede can't visit 5 Pebbles. Just gonna go and do that in a... Shoot, what is it called? Safari, yeah. Just plays with Centipede, go to Pebbles, go to the depths. So the reason I've come up here to the top of Skylands is because of this transmission. Let's just read this, okay? All participants anonymous. So let me pause the scenario to all of you. Suppose someone okay, this is scrolling too slowly. Suppose someone broadcasts a triple affirmative. Suppose the solution is found and our jobs are finished. What then? Then we all travel beyond, I suppose. Yes, well, does that imply we are just searching for the solution for ourselves now? After all, the ones who originally wanted the solution are now extinct. The current fauna will likely not have a use for nor the ability to comprehend the solution, and will no longer be operational by the time another advanced civilization comes into being. So why exactly are we doing all this? Nothing better to do? So, you may notice that this is the opposite of what we were just talking about, right? If the problem is that they were trying to help everything ascend, I wish the message stayed on screen. I guess I could pause the game. But you know, if they're trying to get everything to ascend, why would they say that? The current fauna will not be able to ascend, even if we did find the solution. So there's two interpretations for this. One is that Downpour is just wrong, because this dialogue is Downpour only, of course, for Spearmaster. It could just be incorrect. It just missed the point of what the big problem is, you know? Let's say that what we thought the solution or the big problem was, we think that it's trying to help the ancients ascend without the void fluid, maybe, or for whatever other reason, because I guess it's too expensive or inaccessible. You know, they don't want to drill down to the void sea in every possible location where there's ancients living, right? So they're trying to find a way for the ancients to ascend, but then they all just ascend themselves anyway, and the iterators are just left with nothing to do, except I guess they can ascend themselves now, right? But they don't know how to because of the taboo and this and that, and that's a big problem now, right? So they're like, why are we doing this? The ancients are gone, we can't ascend them. I guess we're just trying to ascend ourselves now, right? The other interpretation is that once the hold on, let me try to figure this out. So I guess maybe after so long of trying to work on trying to get everything to ascend, they could not find any way, even though there's, you know, hundreds or thousands of iterators, and how much time has passed of them trying to find a solution, they just can't come up with anything. It's impossible. It's like, okay, we can't ascend everything, but maybe we can ascend ourselves, right? Especially with Sliver Straw. So Sliver Straw is another character I want to talk about a lot, because Sliver Straw, and this is this is a base game, right? Let me like let me go to like Survivor or something. So Sliver, or no. Okay, this might take a long time. It'd be cool if I could read the yellow pearl dialogue, but it's gonna take forever to get to Pebbles and then Moon, so I'm just gonna head to Pebbles. But and don't worry, I'll get around to Rivulet eventually. But what Moon tells us is that Silver Straw broadcasts the triple affirmative. They're like, I found the solution, and then she dies, or I guess they die. Which, if the great problem is that they're trying to find a way for everything to ascend, that makes absolutely no sense. Unless you agree with the ideas that you know, maybe their structure collapsed and the signal was just sent randomly, or you know, a number of things could have happened. So that led to them dying. That is nothing to do with the triple affirmative, right? Like, trying to think and do like a speedrun at the same time. Yeah, that's what Pebble says. He says that no solution has been found because he cannot help the animals, right? It's like I can't do anything for you at all, but I can say, hey, go to the Void Sea. Maybe you will find ascension there, right? Maybe that'll work out for you. That's the best thing he can do. Because they've not found a solution to that problem. But Silverstraw, so you know, Silverstraw finds a way to ascend everything. But then they die, which doesn't make sense. Let me go open up that Pearl dialogue. It's the yellow pearl and shoreline. Some said that she did have a solution, but the solution itself was somewhat dangerous. We're trying to figure it out indirectly. Some said she never had a solution. She just died, and when the systems broke down, an erroneous signal was sent. One camp claimed that dying was the solution. So this is what Pebbles kind of believes in, right? I think it's like the Sky Islands pearls. Pebbles kind of shares his belief. Basically saying we should consider the possibility that death is the solution. Which, first of all, kind of makes no sense, right? If someone dies, they just come back because of the cycle. That's the entire problem, right? Maybe he's referring specifically to iterators. Iterators can't ascend, but if they die, they won't be able to come back because they're not just a regular animal. They are a collection of many different things put together in one giant machine, right? That doesn't. It doesn't, like, what would happen, right? Because, you know, we're very familiar with death in Rain World. the slug cat dies many times, and if you die, you just wake up again in your last shelter, right? But what happens if an iterator dies? Well, we don't know, because none of them have, except for Silverstraw, who's very far away, right? And Pebbles and Moon are technically still alive. And that's the problem, right? They don't die easily because they're always just barely hanging on, right? So maybe if they did find a way to die completely and very thoroughly, then that would be, you know, equivalent to ascension for an iterator. So maybe at this point, around the time of Silverstraw's whole thing, the great problem is just ascension of iterators, and they don't care about other animals anymore. And this is what the wiki thinks. If you go to the Rainworld wiki and you look at the article for iterators, it says the great problem is, number one, trying to find a way to ascend all life, and then number two, trying to find a way for the iterators to ascend themselves. And over time, it shifted goals from 1 to 2. But I guess that's kind of the answer. They changed their goals. the great problem is not just like one thing. It does not stay the same. Or maybe there was no great problem, and we're only seeing that because that's a more recent thing. The moon kind of refers to the great problem a few times in the pearls. You know, maybe they were initially created for one purpose, but then they just like weren't capable of it. So they're like, okay, let's just like we're frustrated. We've been left behind. Let's just find a way to die, basically. Or, you know, not every iterator is probably working on that, but maybe because it was a popular theory in the local group, it's like kind of what we hear. Or I guess because we only really hear from 5 Pebbles, so that's the only perspective we get. Is that a claim? That's like Pebbles' whole thing, right? Pebbles presumably has similar goals to other iterators. Unless maybe they're specialized. Maybe they're not all working on the same thing. I don't know. I guess that is kind of an assumption too. But Pebbles was inspired by a Sliver of Straw. Basically thinking Sliver of Straw broadcast the triple affirmative and then died. So she's basically saying you should do the same thing that I did. This is the solution. So Pebbles finds a way to rewrite the self-destruction taboo. For himself, specifically. Right? But that doesn't solve the problem of ascending creatures, does it? You know? If the problem was just ascend everything, then Pebbles self-destructing does not help that at all. That is not a solution. So that has to be their new goal, at least his new goal, right? But it's not just Pebbles, right? Because Moon says one camp can't claim that dying was a solution. So some group of iterators believe that dying was a solution, I guess for self-ascension, exclusively for the iterators, because you know they can't killing like random creatures does not help them ascend because they just come back anyway. That doesn't really make any sense, right? I guess I shouldn't be doing this. I should be playing Rivulet. The ascend all creatures part. So it's just kind of spread out across a lot of line of dialogue. Let me try to find some examples. The exterior pearl says, as an iterator, he is a gift of charity from us to the world, unable to reach enlightenment by itself, being composed mostly of rock, gas, dual-witted bugs, and microbes. So basically, they are saying 5 Pebbles is a gift to the world that can't ascend themselves. I think Moon says something similar. So Moon says, we were supposed to help everyone, you know, everything. That was our purpose. A great gift to the lesser beings of the world. When facing our inability to do so, we all reacted differently, many with madness. So I think that this is also kind of explains part of it, right? The iterator's purpose was to be a gift to the whole world, aka ascend the whole world, I guess. But they weren't able to do that, so some of them reacted with madness, aka trying to self-ascend as their new goal, as their new great problem, I think. Do I do speedruns? I guess I can do some practice runs. Whatever. Because I'm a little bit distracted. So it kind of feels like I guess my problem is I'm thinking that the great problem is one single goal that they're trying to achieve, but they gave up on that. The one great problem that all of them were working towards, they all gave up. Or I guess most of them gave up. Due to frustration, or just a lot of time passing with no progress being made at all. And also sliver of straw. I do wonder what is the triple affirmative? Because maybe the triple affirmative is not saying that the problem of trying to ascend everything has been solved, but it's saying the problem of ascending iterators has been solved, right? That feels like it makes more sense within the context of that pearl, basically saying, because they wouldn't say that dying is a solution. One iterator dying is not a solution for ascending all creatures, right? So maybe by the time Sliver Straw dies, they are only trying to ascend themselves now. They're only trying to ascend the iterators. Who cares about the rest of the world, right? Oh, great. The solution. Pearl dialogue. Affirmative that a solution is found, affirmative that a solution is portable, and affirmative that a technical implementation is possible and generally applicable. No idea what's happening. So in normal circumstances, if there was actually a solution that was found, they would then share it. Here's the instruction manual on how to either ascend everything. I guess if the solution was portable, it would need to be like transported in some degree, or maybe the information could be shared around so that it could be reproduced elsewhere. And since the iterators are spread out enough, they can collectively work together to help everything ascend, right? Or if the great problem is just about trying to get the iterators to ascend, then like here's an instruction manual on self-destruction, basically. That's a white lizard. Yep, the only goal of this speedrun is to get to Moon. I'm a little bit distracted talking about Rainworld stuff. Don't think that Sliver Straw was looking for a way to ascend iterators. So why would some... I guess, okay, maybe some iterators misinterpreted what was happening. They were trying to find a way to ascend themselves, and they were like, oh, Sliver Straw died, so that's the solution. That was a very funny roll pounce. There's another thing I want to mention. There's two things. So one is some dialogue with Moon in Downpour. I think it's for Saint or Rivulets. I don't remember. I don't think I have enough food. No. That's fine. This is just warm up. This is just practice or whatever. Let me check what dialogue it is exactly. Shoot. Okay, so Silent Construct, this is what happens if you bring the music pearl to Moon as Saint. Moon says, our creators chose to abandon us, taking a gamble and vanishing from the world, leaving us behind to simply keep working on their problem. I understand why he did what he did. So she's basically saying, you know, it makes sense why Pebbles did what he did because he was frustrated, that he was left behind and just forced to work on a problem, right? Actually, I want to look at another line of dialogue. But I'll talk about this one first. So the one important thing that Moon says here is taking a gamble. As in, Moon is saying that the Void Sea method of ascension is a gamble. It's risky in some way. Like, perhaps because you might become an echo. I feel like this kind of supports the echo theory a little bit more, saying that you know, maybe they were waiting for the iterators to solve, you know, find a way to ascend with no consequences at all. But they were impatient, so they took the risk of becoming an echo instead. This is Downpour dialogue, by the way. No, I don't want a squeak key. It's funny that these leashes are not problematic at all. And I need to shelter. There's some more stuff with Saint in Rubicon. So I guess if you don't want Rubicon spoilers or Saint spoilers. So, as you know, when you get to the end of Rubicon, you talk to Pebbles and Moon if you ascend them, right? They basically say that the great problem is impossible to solve because ascension is a one-way path, right? If your goal is to try to ascend and you ascend something, well, did it work? You don't know because they're gone now. I guess the way you check is if you test if they come back, but I don't know if they know how to check if they have come back or not, or if it's like some weird timeline / perspective thing or whatever, right? If you were trying to understand what lies beyond a point of no return while having yet to pass it, only those who have seen the other side could know the answer, but by definition could never venture back to deliver the knowledge they've gained. So I think they're sounding like they are talking like ascension is the goal. That is what they're trying to solve. They're trying to find a way to ascend, right? But it's impossible because it's a one-way path. You can't check to see if your solution if your solution works. So what are they trying to ascend? Are they trying to ascend? Is this still the trying to ascend everything goal? Which, by the way, is the correct interpretation that a lot of people say. The reason the iterators were built were to try to get everything to ascend, but maybe they give it up on that goal. If they were trying to ascend themselves, I think it'd be pretty definitive. Oh. Hello, thank you for the raid. We're revisiting right now. But we're also talking about Rain Road lore, so if anyone is trying to avoid any sort of Rain Road spoilers, maybe you don't want to stick around. But I appreciate it anyway. Hi, Jetfish. No! Yeah, thank you, Jetfish. Okay. Shoot, that actually sucks. I can't go through the gate now. I've been consumed by a vicious monster. So anyway, I'm talking about Saints, by the way. So if anyone's trying to avoid Saint spoilers, this is your warning. So I'm literally talking about the ending. But let's say that the ancients are trying to find a way to ascend themselves. Let's say that's their new goal. At least that's some of the iterators' new goal. They're saying they can't check if their ascension has worked because it's a one-way process. Which, first of all, it's pretty obvious that Sliver Straw is dead, right? Maybe Sliver of Straw's like consciousness or something has returned. Maybe as a different creature, maybe as like some segment of the iterator structure that's still alive, or who knows, right? Maybe Sliver Straw is still alive in some form, and it's just you can't tell from the outside, right? Because the only method of communication is through the like communication towers, and if Sliver Straw's new life is not connected to those, then they have no way of showing that they're still alive, basically. But they're pretty confident. Oh wow, that's a lot of leeches. They're pretty confident that they know that Sliver Straw is dead, but maybe they didn't ascend because they're questioning that, right? Like, is death the solution? Maybe, maybe not. I guess they don't have a way to check. Is what they're saying. Are these guys gonna cause a problem here? That actually worked. So okay, what is the full story here? The ancients wanted to ascend. The else tracks are very good. I agree. There's one playing right now. So the ancients wanted to ascend. They tried their hardest to rid themselves of worldly desires, like starving themselves and whatever else they did. They basically tried to be effortless. If they didn't want to survive at all, maybe they would ascend. AKA no longer be revived by the cycle or whatever that means. Which didn't work for a long time. But they eventually discovered the void fluid, the void sea, which was a very powerful, a very good power source because of rarefaction cells. But I guess that's a downport thing. So Moon says that something vacuum, void fluid produces a lot of energy, so they could basically do whatever they wanted to. It's basically creative mode for them. And so they also discovered that it was a way to ascend. If you went to the Void Sea, you didn't come out. So I guess they did have a way to check. They obviously knew that the Void Fluid was a method of ascension, regardless of what Pebbles and Moon says in Rubicon, right? Yeah, they didn't. It was a one-way trip. They didn't come back to say that, hey, we've ascended, but they still knew. Oh damn. Okay, I should have done slide pounce or something. If Pebbles and Moon are correct about saying that it's impossible to check if a solution has worked because Ascension is a one-way trip, information can only pass in one direction, so they can never learn of what happens post-Ascension, right? But the Void Sea exists, and they obviously knew that the Void Sea was a way to ascend. Pebbles literally tells you, hey, there's an old path. Go to the Void Sea, right? So I guess that kind of implies that there's some way that they know that they know that the cycle is a thing, right? Yeah, that is perfectly what they say in Rubicon. By definition, they can never return to bring back the knowledge they've gained or something like that. What exactly the cycle is also incredibly messy. But they know, the ancients know that the Void Sea is a method of ascension. Even if, I guess because of the fact that they can't come back. So they know when people get returned by the cycle. Maybe. Like if your friend dies, and I mean, I guess how obvious is it, right? Are people only born when someone dies because they're being reincarnated? Or is it the way we see it in game, which is where they just wake up again? But that's also kind of just for your experience. The Slugcat experience is being revived, but Artificer does not experience their children coming back. Right? In the children's perspective, they just wake up again, and everything continues as normal. But for Artificer, her children are gone. Right? But I guess from Artificer's perspective, getting eaten by leeches is a method of ascension, because her children did not come back. So surely they have ascended. That's the same knowledge that you gain from someone jumping into the Void Sea. Or I guess maybe because the ancients were intelligent enough to speak, they would say, hey, I have reincarnated. You know, I used to do this and this. I remember dying, but I'm still here. And after people jumped to the Void Sea, we never saw any new ancients say, hey, or I guess ancients that are waking up, we never heard them say, hey, I remember jumping into the Void Sea and I just died a horrible death of being dissolved by acid, but I've come back. So I guess that's the way that they learned, right? If the Void Sea was just a regular old dying, then some ancients would have reported back and say, hey, I experienced a dying to the Void Sea, but none of them ever did. So surely it is a permanent leave, a way to permanently escape the cycle. But that kind of contradicts what Moon and Pebble say, that it's impossible to gain knowledge. Because if you do gain knowledge, if someone does come back and return the knowledge, that means that it didn't work. Right? It's also a possibility that Ascension is not just like more dead than dead. It's like a beyond, you know. Because we do experience, oh my goodness. You know, in game, when you go into the Void Sea, there's more. It doesn't just stop. You know, you see the Survivor sees the Slugcat tree, Monk sees Survivor, a bunch of stuff happens with Hunter and an iterator in the background. That is also, okay, this is an unrelated question. In the ending of Hunter's Ascension, the iterator that you see in the background, is that confirmed to be no significant harassment? 100%. It's the obvious answer because they are associated. I've heard a theory that it is potentially Sliver of Straw. Maybe because Sliver of Straw was able to ascend, maybe. And so they meet Hunter in the Void Sea. Or something else like that, I forget. Green, I guess that is the association, right? There's a green, light flashing before your eyes. So that's what it could be. It's only one short little vision, and then that's it. It is just a permanent end, like that. What I was talking about is, when Artificer's children die, from Artificer's perspective, they don't come back. But presumably from the pup's perspective, they just wake up again, right? But that is indistinguishable from the Void Sea. So to Artificer, from Artificer's perspective, dying to leeches is a method of ascension because her children did not come back. Oh, if you die to leeches, or if you get hit by a grenade and then eaten by leeches, you don't come back, so it is a method of ascension, right? But I guess for the ancients, maybe, you know, people would have said that they have memories of dying, or past lives or whatever, but no one ever has past experiences of the Void Sea. So, you know, you would think that if the Void Sea was just a regular death, some of them would have come back and say, hey, I died to the Void Sea, I remember that life where I jumped to the Void Sea. But that never happens because they were permanently gone. And we actually talked to ancients that have ascended because of the echoes. And notice that we've not talked about the echoes much, which kind of makes me sad. Because they seem like such a relevant part of the game, but they are not really actually relevant at all. Because in my original echo interpretation, echoes are the explanation for the iterators. Ancients didn't want to become echoes, so they created an iterator to find an alternate method of ascension. But that's like maybe not true because they're just called horror stories. There's just like these like a myth, like a horror story of becoming an echo, but they didn't really believe in it. But we do talk to echoes. We do get their perspective. They have no ego. Well, ego only seems to be relevant for echoes, right? That's just, they're like, even when the ancients tried to be effortless, they did not find a way to ascend until they found the Void Sea, right? So timeline stuff gets weird really fast. There's basically like an infinite number of timelines, or not infinite, just a very large number. Those get confused sometimes. It feels too independent. That's more of a gameplay mechanic, I feel like. Because the ancients kind of say that every living creature has some knowledge of the cycle, right? I guess like from your perspective, if you die and you get revived, or you wake up again, right? That's the only thing that you experience, and other people died just normally, right? But I guess when you're having conversations with them, with your fellow ancients, and saying, hey, do you feel like you have memories of past lives or something like that? Would they agree with you? Because from your perspective, they're just dying normally. No one is being revived. No one is waking up again, right? would they still, from your perspective, would other people still experience the cycle? Because I guess they would, right? That is a big part of their culture, right? That is like the whole ancients, that's their whole thing. At least the side of them that we see in the game. I feel like it'd make more sense for that kind of culture to exist if they did just wake up again. Although it's hard to know what that would look like from the outside, right? If your friend dies and they wake up again, what does that look like? Where is their body? You know, if you sit next to their bed and just stare at it, are they just gonna spawn in, or is it like a watched bed never never revives the ancients? Like when you're not looking, they just kind of show up one day. But we do see creatures get revived, maybe. Actually, I don't think we do. I think if you kill a creature and a new creature replaces it in its den, that's not the same creature being revived. That's just a new creature just showing up. Or maybe it is the same soul but a new body. So from your perspective, new people can be born. That may have some experiences of the past lives, right? But from your perspective, you're the same person that other people would see as a new person, or maybe not, like it wouldn't equate to the same thing, but it'd just be like what their experience would be. I love the scramble. The scavengers panicking. I need food. I need to keep forgetting to... I need to stop forgetting this food. It's quite important. Or I should eat somewhere else. And lineaging is thing, right? If you kill the same creature multiple times, eventually they come back as a different creature. What happens when you lineage an iterator? That I agree with that 100%. When you're in the Void Sea and you see all the Sluggots swimming together, it's like, because if you allow those versions of yourself to exist, you're only going to keep waking up again, right? But by bringing all versions of yourself together into the Void Sea and doing whatever process happens there, your cycle stops, right? So you're basically putting an end to all versions of yourself that would exist, right? Or maybe have existed in the past as well. That's like probably the hardest point in this whole run, because they're starting from so close to the water. And isn't lineage just a game mechanic? Well, you could say that about a lot of things. Isn't the cycle just a game mechanic? Some people say that. They say that respawning is just a game mechanic, and the cycle is actually a different thing. Like, when you die of old age, you wake up as a child. I tried to swim backwards, but it took so long for my body to turn around, I swam directly into the eel's mouth. It became a newer model. Prediction for the Watcher: we meet the reincarnation of Sliver of Straw. And they're like, I used to be an iterator. Isn't that crazy? And we watched them. I don't know. I by doing this kind of deep dive into Rainworld lore, I feel like I've come up with a lot of theories of what the Watcher might be about. There's some you know, some questions that could be answered that aren't necessarily about Pebbles and Moon, but you know, about iterators or ancients in general. Like the echoes. Some people say that there's not many echoes. Like for how densely populated the city must have been, or how the surface may have been, surely you'd find more than just 6 echoes, right? But maybe being aligned with an echo is very rare, and that's why we only ever see 6 of them, but there's actually way more that are just kind of hidden on their own planes of existence, right? So maybe the Watcher interacts with echoes, but there's like thousands of them. Like, hey, we all turned into echoes. The global ascension was a huge mistake. We're all trapped here now. Please save us. I don't think that would happen. That seems dramatic. But I think there's a like high possibility that echoes are a constant. You know, maybe we see new creatures, maybe we don't see the same iterators, but maybe we do see echoes. Every single room has at least one. Especially when they're cultured, like think about the shaded echo and how self-centered they are. They have this whole ritual, this whole like thing celebrating their ascension. Like that is the opposite of what you want to do, right? That's like how, like 101 how to become an echo, right? Plus the undergrowth echo, although this is downpour, but the undergrowth echo is like, I didn't want to ascend, but we all were forced to anyway, and now I'm stuck here. So like you would kind of expect there to be way more echoes, unless it's just a really rare chance or like really unlucky people got selected. I feel like they don't seem particularly extreme though. Like some of them seem extreme, but like one of them is just like, I like the way that the grass sways in the wind, or I like watching the sunrise or something like that, whatever that the chimney echo says. Like they're just sentimental. They just like little details of the world that, you know, they like those memories, and now they're trapped forever in purgatory, or I guess like a limbo. Hunter Longlegs. Okay, let's talk about Hunter Longlegs. That is Downpour's explanation for what the disease is. I think it's kind of the only way to explain permadeath. Right? Because Hunter can either ascend, or it's not just another method of ascension. You know, cancer isn't ascension unless you believe Pebbles. That death is the answer, and that he just made the mistake of picking the really slow and painful method. I think it makes sense, Downpour's interpretation of Hunter's disease, because Hunter is still maybe technically alive, but they're just like stuck in this like cancerous blob, right? So no, they're not conscious. You can't keep playing the game, but they are still alive, so they don't get revived, or they're not ascended, you know? Right, how would that make sense? Everything that dies returns, everything that dies wakes up again, right? So Hunter should not have permadeath. Permadeath is impossible in this game, right? And yet, that is what you experience when you play the game. When Hunter dies on the last cycle, they are dead then, right? Why are they dead? Why did they not just get revived? Well, because they're technically still alive. Just not as a Sloycat, as a cancerous mass that is, like, you know, mindlessly wandering around, consuming everything it comes across, right? So you can't play the game. The game is over, but they're still alive. Is my interpretation. And I think what Downpour was kind of going for with Hunter Longlegs. How does Hunter come back then? If Hunter came back, you would just, you know, wake up again on cycle -1, you know, or whatever, you know. Hello, welcome to the stream. And this is also what happens to the iterators to some degree. Some people wonder if they were trying to find a way to self-destruct, then Pebbles was actually helping Moon by starving her of water. And why didn't they just do this in the first place, right? If they're finding a way to self-destruct, just like don't drink so much water, you know? Unless it's just an automated system that they can't control. But obviously Pebbles, well, I guess because of Pebbles' situation with Moon, because they're connected by using more groundwater, he starves her of water, right? Like, if that's their goal, I guess you could also say because their goals aren't aligned. You know, Moon might not be doing the same thing. Moon did not have the same beliefs about Silver Straw. That is the answer. So she has reason to try to stay alive. Like, oh, Pebbles was trying to find a way to self-destruct, but he got the rot, which ends up killing him anyway. So he achieves the goal, but the rot is like a very slow and painful and maybe non-conclusive way to die, because Pebbles is still alive by Saint's time, right? And Moon is still alive, right? After she collapses, she's still, you know, arguably alive. maybe not conscious, or maybe not, you know, active or whatever. But she's still alive a little bit. Thus she does not, you know, maybe Sliver Straw is still alive actually. How can they confirm that definitively? Maybe somewhere deep in the rubble, there's a puppet that's just barely hanging on, you know? I should not do that. Nice. And, you know, maybe if an iterator dies anyway like that, they're just gonna come back. They're just gonna wake up again in some form. Maybe just the puppet, maybe some other life form, but it's still like the same. Who knows, really? And one of the iterators jokingly considers the idea of, you know, throwing the entire iterator can into the Void Sea. Like the only way to, like thoroughly take out an iterator is by literally dissolving every little last microbe. What about star cycles? Well, sleeping seems to be some sort of checkpoint, right? You sleep to set a checkpoint that you then wake up again from when you die. So if you are starving, you don't get proper rest. You don't actually set that checkpoint. Dude, you have to be in the perfect spot to mess me up. It's like Pebbles or Hunter has the same symptoms of starvation, but they're not. You can still eat food, and you know, save. You can still shelter. It's just that you're very weak. I forgot my tech. No. Okay. I forgot my movement in this room. Oh, I'm supposed to have an item here. Whoops. I'm bad. Why did Pebble say micros want to ascend? I think that's a problem with the Ancients' perspective on life. They just believe that everything shares the same desires, which is kind of what Downpour is trying to disprove. Like, oh, the Ancients think that everything wants to ascend, but Gourmand exists, and Gourmand just wants to eat food. Or that one Echo in Undergrowth, or, you know, Monk and Pebbles, or Monk and Survivor and the Slug Pups hanging out in the Outer Expanse, you know. Maybe, you know, maybe bacteria also have this cycle where they die in like 2 minutes and they wake up again and infinitely, right? Random bacteria speedrunning getting into the Void Sea. Yeah, they're trying to ascend too. I guess it's like it's kind of obvious like how impossible. Also, let's actually talk about Saints a little bit more. Some people think the Saint is a triple affirmative. My theory before Downpour release, my theory about Saint is that they were a creation of Sliver Straw. That Sliver Straw created a Saint. They're like, hey, this Saint, this Slugcat can ascend things. Triple affirmative. And then, you know, Saint ascended her. And it was Saint's mission to go around and ascend everything else. That was my theory before Downpour release. Which is not true. I think it's just been confirmed that that's just not the case. And it's impossible. Saint was not alive when Sliver Straw was, right? It just doesn't work out. But, you know, I guess if the great problem is trying to find a way to ascend iterators, then yes, Saint is the solution. Saint solves that problem. They can travel, they are portable, they can go around, and they can ascend iterators, and maybe, you know, here's an instruction manual on how to create a Saint yourself, so you can ascend even if you're very far away from the first one. If you believe that the great problem is not just one problem that they're trying to solve, and, you know, maybe they switched goals to try to ascend themselves, the iterators. In that case, I guess the Saint is actually a triple affirmative. They're pretty portable, I guess. Do they meet all the requirements? I'm not entirely sure, but they definitely are capable of ascending iterators. We literally do it. But Saint can't ascend Wormgrass. You can't ascend dirt. You can't ascend, you know, the walls, the microbes. A lot of things can't be ascended. Is this a gameplay limitation because they didn't want to program, you know, ascension mechanics for like the floor? What would that even look like? But you know, Saint is clearly capable of ascending something. That does seem like a pretty significant development. some people say that Saint is a creation of the Void Sea itself. Maybe there was like I who tried to ascend, but then when they got to the Void Worms, they were like rejected, and they had some like desire to ascend everything, and so they got that desire when they return. Who knows? It's kind of another set of cycles repeating. Let's say that Saint's goal is to ascend the iterators, and they eventually accomplish that goal. They ascend everything. But now Saint is left alone, not able to ascend themselves, just like the iterators were for the ancients. You know? Well, the iterators didn't really do anything, actually. I guess they provided for them, but that was kind of the ancients' own mistake. They kind of, you know, they kicked the boat across the river themselves. And they're like, fine, let's just go to the Void Sea, or I guess let's just like bathe in void fluid because we can pipe it up here ourselves. It doesn't really make sense how void fluid became more accessible, because obviously the surface is a hellscape. Did they go all the way from Metropolis down into the depths, or did they pipe up void fluid? But like, how would they build the pipes? How would they maintain the pipes from all the way up there? You know? I guess maybe the rain is a consequence of the rots and not how it always was. So, you know, a well-equipped squad of ancients could venture down into the filtration system and repair things. To the point where, you know, they can, you know... So you know, maybe it was the job of some ancients to try to make void fluid more accessible, and that's how they all ascended eventually. That's why the final global ascension happened. The global ascension, by the way, is canon to base game, which I did not know. I thought it was a downpour fabrication, but it was in base game. By the way, I have not once mentioned void worms. I don't think you can take anything in Rubicon seriously. It's a hallucination. You know, whatever happens to someone when they go into the Void Sea, it depends on the person. It depends on, you know, the slug cats. So for Saints, you know, it creates a hellscape. For a Survivor, it creates a slug cat tree. Mention void worms when talking about Saint. That's true. I mentioned them a single time, but yeah, we don't know anything about the void worms still. If anything, that's like one thing that's maybe the most interesting. That's the most interesting mystery that can be looked at in the Watcher. What is up with the void worms? Are void worms the ancients? Were they always down there? Are they the conductors of some great scheme to devour civilizations? I kind of like that. It's kind of like has an eldritch horror feeling to it, right? The Void Sea is some sort of like, you know, eldritch monster that, you know, creates civilizations, gets them stuck in a cycle so that they want to ascend and eventually find the void fluid to all leap into collectively. And then the cycle repeats as more civilizations arise and ascend themselves one after another. Are the void worms necessary? I mean, one of them that we meet is pretty helpful. He's like, hey, you want to ascend? Go deeper, you know? They're just helping you out. The rest of them are just kind of chilling, you know. Maybe that is ascension. You know, the ultimate form of life is being a worm swimming around in a big pond for eternity. Will scavengers be the next civilization? I think they're the best chance. But who knows? Like, it could be on like an absurd time scale, you know. Maybe not too long from now, ancients, or I guess the scavengers will develop more. They will get bigger brains. They will, you know, they already seem pretty complex. Like they make arts. They They have some sort of culture already, of course, that we can see in garbage wastes. So, you know, maybe it doesn't take doesn't take that long for them to develop further, right? Or maybe, you know, because of the harsh conditions of the world, the whole like snowstorm thing, you know, it takes way longer, and it's like some like descendants of like Cricatus through like many like millions of years, you know, equivalence time, whatever that is in Rain World. Because it'd be kind of strange if you know, by the times well, I guess, you know, the rest of the iterators probably would have collapsed by the time scavengers become more developed. That does take a while still. Saint, to me, Saint looks like a Slugcat that was engineered to be the perfect, to be in a perfect state for Ascension. They seem to follow the like the natural, or like the avoiding the natural urges, right? They each way less food than the other Slugcats. They are not violent. They are incapable of throwing spears, right? They died to everything very quickly, right? So that's like 3 out of 5 of the like karma symbols that they are like against just by design, right? I kind of feel like it has to be the case that Saint was engineered and not just naturally. They didn't just like evolve to be like that. Because it seems like Slugcats are kind of dying out. Because they're way more common for Gourmand. You just think about how many Slugpups you see as some of those like Slugcats, like Gourmand and Survivor and Hunter. I think those are the ones that can see Slugpups. But I guess that's just because of the whole migration thing, that there just happens to be a lot of Slugpups around, including Survivor, right? Or like a Survivor has grown up by the time you play them. Does it already get Slugpups? Past tense, yeah. Already had Slugpups. Oh my goodness, the swim sucks. You can't catch a break. Nope. Nuclear war. How? Okay, so there's this really cool video about the Rain World timeline. And it kind of suggests that Saint is like way further in the future than like every other event in the game. Like, if you put every event in the game that we're aware of on a timeline, Saint is like off the charts. That is how far in the future they are. And maybe also Rivulets. But I don't know how much I agree with that theory. That game theory, some may say. Because the only measured plan that we really have is the state of Apples and Moon. the state of the world changes quite a lot from like Spearmaster to Hunter, right? Garbage waste and waterfront facility change quite a lot. But after that, they don't change at all, really. No plank. I stabbed you in the face. Sorry, I'm not really focusing on the speedrun at the moment. But the entire world pretty much stays exactly the same. From Survivor to Saint. The only thing that changes is that Pebbles collapses and it snows now. That's kind of the only thing. Oh, Undergrowth too. So I guess that's one change. And Pebbles collapsing, I mean, I guess you need to check like how far the rot has spread. But the rot was already like completely infected like a good chunk of the conduit system, right? Which makes you think it's has a much easier time spreading across the rest of the structure, right? Pebbles has the rots because he messed up an experiment in attempt to self-destruct. And he messed it up because in order to run the experiments, he needed to run a lot of parallel processes, which used a ton of water, which drained Moon of her water. And she was like, dude, you gotta stop. I'm gonna drown. Or the opposite of drowning. I'm gonna become very dehydrated. So she forced Pebbles to stop the experiments and stop consuming that much water, which messes him up, and he crits the rot. I'm not entirely a fan of that. So we're very familiar with the story of Moon and Pebbles, right? And both of them have something happens to them that has a very big impact on their quality of life and their lifespan, right? Presumably, you know, Moon is starved of water for a very long time and her whole structure collapses. And then Pebbles gets cancer and then his whole structure collapses. And apparently a similar process happened to every other iterator, and they've also collapsed through their own messed up experiments, perhaps. Oh my goodness, it's so loud. What was I saying? I forgot. Oh yeah, so we see that the destruction of Moon and Pebbles seems to be greatly accelerated by these by Pebbles experiments, right? So why is it that the other iterators are also seems to be collapsed, right? There's a few possibilities. One, Saint is incredibly mobile, and they got around to ascending those other iterator cans, and after being ascended, their structures collapsed. Maybe, like the anti-gravity systems turned off, and the weight of the structure was too much. Maybe all of the iterators got desperate, and they found a way to try to self-destruct, which led to something happening. Maybe they were successful. Maybe they got a similar situation to Pebbles, and they collapsed. Or really that much time has passed that their structures just collapse naturally. Just the supports eroded, the anti-gravity generators turned off one by one, and eventually they just collapsed because that much time passed. Although I feel like if enough time passed for other iterators to naturally collapse due to erosion and other factors, then Pebbles and Moon would be in a much worse state, you know? Like imagine like you have a car. You have two cars. One of them you purposely sabotage in some horrible way. I don't know what that would be for a car. Maybe you like blow it up. I don't know. And then you take another car and you just use it as normal, right? How long would it take to take a car from like new to exploded? I feel like the new car would enter a state where it can't drive anymore way before it's entered the exploded state. It just that takes like, you know, way longer for it to like, I don't know, like erode due to like corrosion and rust and you know, other environmental factors. That would take way longer than, you know, the car just breaking down normally, right? That's what it feels like for the iterators, right? Moon and Pebbles had some factor that accelerated their collapse, but the iterators hopefully didn't. You know, unless, you know, they all did something that accelerated the process. I'm just, you know, I just don't really, I guess I'm saying I don't really agree with the way they made it in Downpour. If it really was that far in the structure, like, Chimney Canopy should have collapsed too, you know? How is Sky Island still staying up? So that I think it would have been better if the other iterators in the background were still alive. Maybe like one of them collapsed, and it's like, oh, so much time passed that another iterator collapsed. That's crazy. That still would have had an impact. To see one collapsed iterator. Yeah, maybe they did find a solution. Although it'd be harder to communicate that information without the communication network. Why is everyone in the chat yellow? All of Twitch chat is yellow right now. I don't know if that's just on my side or if all of you have like set your name to be yellow. Okay, so it's just on my side. Thank you for moving. Stop. That was so perfect. If I got it first try. Also, I find it fascinating that there's like a trillion or let's keep things there's like maybe a few thousand iterators at most, right? Which is a detail added in Downpour. So let's say that there's like 100 iterators in base game. That's still a lot. I feel like once you have one massive supercomputer, you're pretty good. Like, surely that solves like most of your problems pretty quickly. Like, think about how massive the iterators are. There's a whole city on top of the iterator, and there's still like plenty of space. They're massive. It's absurd. Like a supercomputer in real life is like the size of like a few rooms, maybe. I mean, I guess I don't know. Like one computer is really realistically one like CPU or GPU is like you can hold it in your hands, right? Imagine a GPU the size of a whole room. Like that's stupid. You know, they're not like that because of heat's problems. You need to find ways to dissipate the heat, and you know there needs to be space for that. Maybe like water cooling or something. So maybe a decent amount of the insides of an iterator are dedicated to cooling and not just pure calculations. But they're still so massive. Even if only 10% of the iterator is actually doing computations, they're huge. One iterator with the goal to build more. I mean, they probably use the iterators to help them build like new ones. Like, hey, how do we design a better iterator? You know, and then eventually you get around to making it singularity. But I guess like I feel like after they made like one echo, or sorry, I keep mixing them up. They made like one iterator, and it didn't instantly solve the great problem. Like, shoot, we got to make more of these. Maybe one of them has to solve it eventually, and they just kind of got used to building them. And eventually, maybe they had to build them for shelter, you know, from the rains. Although they kind of created the rains too. Downpour actually adds the detail that, well, okay, Downpour explains why Pebbles exists. Basically saying, Moon was kind of an old iterator. They were not designed to support a whole city. So they had to build a new iterator just for the city. And then a bridge between the two so that, you know, people could walk across. Or maybe there's like some sort of trains or something. That'd be kind of cool if there were trains on Precipice. But I don't think there's actually an explanation in base game. Base game, all that base game says is safety, or like the regulations on like where an iterator can be constructed were getting more lenient because there was rain everywhere. It was raining everywhere, so there's water everywhere. So, you know, they could be close together, whatever. Are there trains in Metropolis? I don't think so. There's trains in Subterranean. But that's on the surface. That's very far away from the iterators. There are trains in Metropolis. Oh yeah, there are. I remember. You idiot. Right, and like in the bottom area, yeah. Sophanthiel. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, I think that was a I got boosted by the scavenger. That's why I went higher than normal. Yo, that popped instantly. I need a better like place to get food. Why do I keep bonking my head? I'm trying to pounce. Actually, I'll keep going. I want to practice pulling some more. I keep forgetting that I need to shelter here. No, that's the thing that Well, forever haunt me. Depending on what happens in the Watcher, but... Yo, the original developers probably had some sort of idea of... They probably had some answers to these questions. Maybe not a definitive answer, I mean, you know... You can kind of leave some of it up to speculation. But, you know, for consistency's sake, it'd probably make it easier just to answer some of the questions to build the world around. And then just not share the answers to the questions in the game. You know? Like, Sliver of Straw, something happened there, right? We don't know, it's a big mystery, and that's kind of the point. It's supposed to be a mystery. Although, you know, Sliver of Straw existence is kind of just there to explain what happens to Pebbles, right? But maybe the devs were like, yeah, this is like maybe roughly what happens. And to Sliver of Straw, this is like the whole situation, but we're just not gonna give a definitive answer to that because we want people to theorize. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. No, right into his mouth. You know, I have it in the title of the stream. Is anyone interested in Rain Meadow? If I were to try to open up a lobby. Console, no. Sadness. How goes Riv? Do you want to join? I like the idea of a bunch of rivulets plinking. I want to see that. What is Rain Meadow? It is basically online multiplayer for Rain World. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna set that up. We can do the speedrun. So for mods, plinking is not that difficult. It's kind of random, but if you try a bunch, you'll eventually get it. Okay, a better host controls. I got this mod because apparently it fixes some of the problems with Rain Meadow. That's kind of annoying. So if you want to join, more Slugcats, remix Rain Meadow. That's all you need. You don't need this mod. This is only for the host. And this is all on the workshop. My voice hurts. This is one of those streams where I'm talking more than normal. The mods are just more Slugcats expansion, remix, and then Rain Meadow. Less mods is better. Like if you have some mod enabled that you think isn't going to cause any problems, it's probably safer to disable it, just in case there's some weird incompatibility. Oh. Invite only? Okay, I guess public and then the password is like camera scroll. I mean, what if it does? Okay, I guess you can try camera scroll. That should be clients only, right? The password will be Plink. My Twitch link. I'm not just streaming on Twitch, by the way. I'm also on YouTube. There's actually more people on Twitch than normal. YouTube chat says hi to Twitch. Riv Gaming, yes. $15 on Twitch. Yeah, that is uncommon. So many tabs open of like iterator dialogue and pebble or pearl dialogue. 5 pearls. Friendly fire. Oh, Twitch chat says hi to YouTube. Oh, I don't think you have the right mods, or maybe that was the password. Wrong password, possibly. Should I require campaign slugcat? I mean, I like the idea of everyone being rivulets. But if you really want to be another slugcat, then you can pick whatever you want. I want to see a bunch of rivulets. If you don't play Artificer, you will drown. Or more accurately, you will explode. Is there a goal? I want to do Moon %, but then we can do something else after Moon. And also, I just want to test if this works. You know, because the biggest one big problem with Rain Meadow is that if one person died, the rest of the group could not go through a gate. Right? So, you know, if you're trying to get through memory crypts is a horrible place to go, because the chance of everyone making it through memory crypts without dying is pretty low. And when you make it to the end, you get to the gates, and you just can't go through it. So everyone needs to get through memory crypts alive in order to get to the leg. But hopefully, that's been fixed with the mod that I'm using. That's what I want to test. Yeah, you know, Rivulet might not work very well. Yeah, we can go to Pebbles, and everyone will die to the rot. So yeah, I'll wait a bit for more people to join. If you are trying to join and it's taking a while, do let me know before I start. Memory crypts. The memory crypts plank is kind of cursed. Although, you know, I have been getting more used to planks from Moon %, but it's like such a small little pool of water and like a... Aren't you holding on to the refraction cell, so you need to like not drop it? That seems precise. Randomly despawns and duplicates itself. Well, I don't know if we'll make it to Pebbles. Not as bad as it used to be. Repetitive Twitch chat. Password is ploink, if anyone missed that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff with the downpour campaigns that is probably harder to get to work in multiplayer, because for, you know, for base game it's very simple. You go to Pebbles and you go to the depths. That's the whole game. But, you know, I guess like Gourmand would probably work. You know, you just like eat food and then you go to Outer Expanse. Like Spearmaster probably wouldn't work. Rivulet probably doesn't work. Saint probably doesn't work. Although it'd be funny to try at Saint anyway. All right, are we waiting on anyone else? I don't know. Maybe I feel like it doesn't matter how hard you try. The game is gonna crash regardless, right? If it's not, you know, if it's not supported. Paint cat. I don't want to do that. Future chat needs a better representative. I mean, it's not, we haven't like voted on it or anything. Yeah, I mean, maybe this mod fixes it. Okay, I think I'm gonna start. I think it's possible for players to join after the fact. It just has to be like in a shelter, you know. If you try to join, you'll join the next cycle, basically. No, you guys should spawn in over there. Yo, you can plank up here. How high did I go? Oh, here we are. Oh my goodness. So I guess these are just infinite walls. Friendly fire is off. So don't try to kill each other. Rocks, I think, still work. Actually, I don't know. Can you hit each other with rocks? Spears don't work. I probably should have been a different color. Yeah, rocks work. But I don't want any murder going on, okay? It is a bit laggy. It's gonna be laggy for me regardless. That's just how meadow is. I didn't want to try low quality. Whoops. Turn storage. Maybe low quality fixes the lag, but also it might cause problems with multiplayer. I don't know. No, I'm bad. We already have plenty of food. So we're gonna go we're gonna go to Moon. I guess we can go right away. We don't need to shelter. Got him. I dropped the snail into the leeches. That's why they're all inactive. We're heading down here. Meadow tournament went hard. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, here's the trick here. You gotta get jump boosts. Get jump boosts for your slide pounds to go higher. Yeah. It's funny, that only works for Ruby though. Personally, I can't take a bite out of this fruit to fly with it. Yeah, jump storage. It's something that I found out accidentally by doing slide pounce chains. Just trying to do a lot of slide pounces back to back. Accidentally getting jump boost when I land, and then jumping higher than normal. And I'd be like, why am I jumping higher? I guess you're just able to like stand up and bounce before the jump boost runs out. I'm not exactly sure how it works for Survivor if you try to do the same thing. Everyone get in. The symmetry. We got a shelter. Who went into the pipe? I like how it's like we all have to stand still and then just chaos. Once we don't have to anymore. I really should have selected a different color. Kinda got used to, Oh, are you okay? Garbage worm. If we go up here, no, whoops, there's no, centipede. I'm bad. If someone wants to go down and pay them a visit. Oops, that's a great miss. I think that this room is like so uneven. Oh, this is just slide into the floor and then press jump again. On one of these corners. Yeah. I guess that wall bounce there is pretty nice. Uh-oh, scavenger? Why did you... Explosions aren't exactly synced up very well. Oh, also I stabbed that spider and they did not notice. Oh, more people are dead. Lizard? I saved you. I think. I hope. Yeah, combat is a little bit messy with the desyncs, but... I assume that was the scavengers doing. No. Get in line for your plink. No. Okay, now we're just getting... Oh, there you go. Don't stab me. Okay, I just gotta run from that. My goodness. That's the wrong direction. We didn't even have enough food. These cycles are still pretty short. Uh-oh. Aquabean. Point for the first time, nice. We have more opportunities to point later. Also, it's like we have like 30 seconds left in the cycle. Probably, actually, this shelter up here, this would be a good spot to stay. Do you know what shelter this is? Below the popcorn plants? I don't know where you guys are. Okay, yeah. A little bit small, but it's enough. I have a feeling if there's another PvP tournament, I'm not going to do very well. Because I think the other players have been practicing a lot more than I have. As in, I have not practiced at all. Oh, I got... Wait, this is the death message for the white lizard? What the heck? I killed this white lizard, guys. Oh, why did you do this? Also, I actually didn't do that well. Okay, obviously I won the whole event. But there were some other players who did really well, who have way less Rivulet experience than I do. Yes, the mushroom affects everyone. Do you eat multiple mushrooms? Goodness. Uh-oh. 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 I brought a pearl over here for no reason. Hey, you're doing pretty well, though. Oh, no. Oh, that missed. Wow. Only one death from that? And I'd fall down here. Oh, we got another one. Come on, can everyone blink over here? Nice. That's nice to see. Also, other players. I think I've still been practicing, right? At least not just practice, but just playing. Playing arena mode. I have not really played. I've played arena mode like a handful of times since the tournament, but really not much. And I didn't do very well. Mostly because I was playing like pup or like Rivulet. I think I would like to improve at Rivulet in arena mode, but it's so hard. I find Artifice to be way easier, even without the explosion, or the like the parries and mauls and stuff. Just the double jump is like easier to control. Oh no! Try coming into the shelter anyway, or the gate. Sorry. Damn. That's... It still doesn't work, really? Because the mod I got says that it fixes this problem. I don't even have... Oh, wait, can I? I mean, I don't want to, like, kick you. Alright, I guess we have to shelter. That's... unfortunate. That's like the one reason I wanted to play meadow again, because that bug was fixed, but I guess it's not. Hello, if you want to join, now is the time. While we're in the shelter. Oh damn, yeah, that's a lot of scavenger kills. Previously just killed the whole toll. Don't have mods. Oh, okay. I mean, if you can get the mods, unless you're like on console or something. Half the murder. I guess the kill critic is, you know, everyone sees it. But yeah, like I like the idea of playing Rivulets in arena mode, but they're so, it's like you move so quickly, it's hard to time your spear throws correctly. Whereas, you know, I feel like you know, Artificer's like you do one jump and you're like your position is the exact same every time, right? It feels really easy to line up your spear throws, especially when you want to like throw down. And that actually worked out for me a lot in the tournament, doing a double jump and then throwing down and hitting another slug cat. Do gate shelters flood in Outer Expanse? I don't know. I would assume that they don't. That's like the whole point of a shelter. I hate this point. That was a point I was just facing down. Yippee. I didn't even go that far. Oh wow. That was a far one. We're going down into this pipe. If you're just talking about normal gates, they do flood. But if you're standing in a gate before it rains, time does not pass. I'm actually gonna wait here. You guys can blink first. Hello, welcome to the stream. Oh no, what happened? The particle effects from the plank are really funny. Oh, what the heck? Yellow jump scare, where did they come from? Oh no. Vulture? Where'd that spear go, hello? Oh, the jelly! The jellyfish. Oh no, are you stuck? Hello? Okay, I don't know what's happening here. Slug. Wow, okay. Nice angles. Guess we can keep going then. Oh wait, do we need a shelter? Yeah, it's about to rain. Let's shelter in this room. Sorry, come back. Right here. Okay, some sort of disconnection or something. I don't know what happened. A little bit disappointing that this mod that is supposed to fix the problems is not working. Oh, what the heck, that works? I guess it, yeah. Oh man. Meryl's not responding. Yeah. Wait. Okay, try to join back in next cycle. Why is there collision now? Oh, there we go. So you can try to join the lobby now. I don't know if there's, I don't think I get notifications for like who's joining the lobby. Actually, I think if I exit. Yeah, okay, we're here now. Let me become purple. Are we all ready? Oh, we're having some difficulties, maybe? Oh, right, that happens. So I kicked you and now it's not letting you join back. I don't know if this saves. If I leave and make a new lobby, will I still be in Shoreline? Okay, yeah, we're still here. So join back in the new lobby. Password is still Plunk. The chance for anyone else to join who's interested in playing Rivulets. Yeah, unfortunately, if you're on console, you can't get workshop mods. So, I don't know. Maybe Rain Meadow will be added to the game, and everyone will be able to play online. I can't really see that happening though. Are we still waiting on anyone? Or can we start again? Well, you can join later. Still have the jellyfish. I'm just gonna eat them before any problems happen. Just felt like I had to do that. I'm very purple. I'm like very saturated. Oh no. You're live? Oh, I just hit the lizard that grabbed you. How to plank. Okay, here's how to plank. You gotta get some heights. So like standing up on one of these platforms is pretty good. Jump into the water. And then before you... went AFK, okay. Before you hit the surface of the water, press down and then press jump. It's maybe easier to spam jump. I just press it twice. I think you only need to press it once. So yeah, jump into the water, press it down. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Actually, I think holding down is better. But you just can't press down too early. There is some timing to it. Oops, I tried to do a wall pounce. Uh-oh. There's still a chance, hold on. Okay, I think you're just gone. So the next room is really good for planks. Right here. Let's do a jetfish. Get out of here, dude. Can I get one jump? There we go. No. You can actually chain the planks together. That right when you land you do another plank. Alright, I need to do the angled. There's a strategy that I found that was somewhat consistently gets you a good angle. My goodness. It's flying everywhere. Out of here, jetfish. That was not it. I hate these are the worst jetfish ever. This room kind of sucks. Especially this screen. Here goes the rats flying into the sky again. Oh, I missed. There we go. That's the angle. And here we are at Moon. What's the strat? Basically, press just pressing down earlier than normal. Like there's a specific visual cue on these plants in the background. Ooh, that was, if I didn't get stunned there, that'd be like perfect for a run. Did I plug down? Oh no, the kelp is gonna get me. Okay, we're good. Oh my goodness. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Anyway, we can go to Torment Moon now. Doing it indoors like significantly increases your chances of flipping out of bounds, or you see I went through that wall there. You're either just gonna die or you're gonna clip out of bounds. don't say that. Actually, we need to shelter first. What if you're down here? Just point to get back up. It's that shrimple. Yeah, and it is actually okay to be in different shelters. Yep, Outer Expanse Gaming. Oh nice, we're all here. Well, mostly here. Oh, what was that? Nice. Feel kind of sorry for Moon. Favorite threat? I do like the Outer Expanse threat theme. Maybe Sky Islands. You already know what's gonna happen. Oh, maybe not. Oh, you could probably plink into the into that pipe. I look very pink on this screen. I guess it's just very bright. Moon's probably gonna start being like, please stop moving around. Oh no. Tragedy. I mean, really, you should be asking, how do we not die more often doing this? Oh, that was almost good. Head hurts. Well, it's like, you know that little bubble that you create when you do a swim boost? Oh no. Sometimes it goes really fast, but you don't actually get the speed. I'm just gonna hang out up here. Oh wait, that was kind of close. Moon doesn't seem to be as annoyed of Rivulet. Okay, step one, honk. Kind of surprised I didn't die to that. That was too high up. Oh, and it ends the timer. So that's when the timer should stop, when you die to a point. Only fitting, right? For plank percent. Honestly, plank percent would be a more fitting name than Moon. Oh, that was almost it. I wish there was an easier way to control the speed, because it is pretty random. If you get launched into space or if you just go up a little bit. Instead, if you don't know, you're talking about pipe yard. Just hanging out up there? Oh, I'm too busy getting a concussion. I mean, how bad can it be if you already have brain damage, you know? Oh, that was a pretty good one. Where are you throwing that? Yeah, like once you're 100% brain damage, like it can't get any worse, right? Yeah, just eat a neuron. There's plenty of extra brain right here, in case you run out. Yeah, poor Moon. It's like, what is happening? Getting kind of hungry. Oh no. These jellyfish are too powerful. There's some bubble fruit in the other room, you know. Still not dead miraculously. Also, hello, welcome to the stream. Can you believe it, guys? Watcher, just a week away. Watcher's in a week. I'm so happy about this information. You know, you can do a wall bounce here. Oh, but this pole gets in the way. Ow. It got here so fast. It really didn't. You guys all still over here. Oh yeah, it's not gonna release on console. I feel very bad about that. If you're a console player who's really trying to avoid spoilers, it's going to be rough for the next few weeks, months, years, who knows. I have a feeling there's going to be a decent chunk of console players who just say, whatever. Who cares about spoilers? I'm just going to watch the game because I don't want to... Why are the neurons over here? Neurons aren't supposed to be on this side of the wall. Meanwhile, Tactical Ferret just sitting down on the island in the middle. That's actually probably going to be the majority of the stream watchers. I'm thinking, like, I already know of a decent chunk of people who are going to stream the Watcher day one. Who's going to watch those streams if they are also avoiding spoilers, right? But the answer is the console players. I'm very sorry. And also everyone who just is interested in watching it and maybe they played a little bit on their own, but they don't 100% care about spoilers or, you know, any other reason, really. Oh, she's about to talk about the rain. I don't know how many people watched my first Downpour streams. That was pretty much the same time that I started streaming, so, you know, I don't imagine there were many people there who are still around. But it was not... I was like 80% spoiled. Oh, we're glowing. Isn't that curious? We just started glowing randomly. That's so strange. Actually, kind of surprised it took that long. But yeah, I didn't, I wasn't completely blind when playing Downpour. I was probably, like, mostly spoiled on Gourmand and Artificer. Partially spoiled on Rivulets. I wasn't spoiled at all on Spearmaster, but I had watched the old version of Spearmaster where a lot of things were still the same, as in it was pre-moon collapse or pre-collapsed moon. So I kind of roughly knew that that's what Spearmaster would be about. It's kind of easy to like put the pieces together and be like, oh yeah, so you know, moon hasn't collapsed yet, so we're gonna see what happens in those last moments, you know, this and that. And then Saints, I had already watched I had already seen the old version of Saints, so I kind of roughly knew that you might still get the ability and be able to like ascend the Id Raiders, because that was you know, even in the very first version of More Slugcats, Saints could still get the ascension abilities, and you could still ascend Pebbles. And he would go to Moon, and she'd be like, you know, what's funny, or she said it like that. She says, the excessive rain as of late, or has stopped. I'm so bad at this. She has the same dialogue that she does as Moon, or she does for Rivulets when you take the refraction cell out, where she says that it's not raining as much. It's the same dialogue that was used for Saints campaign like 6 years ago. I guess 5 years ago. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's going to be hard to avoid. I mean, my plan is to play the Watcher so quickly that I don't have a chance to get spoiled at all. Oh, sorry. At least for like the initial, like whatever happens like in the first like 10 minutes. I'm not going to speedrun it. The sound effects when you're going that fast. Ow. Can we pull hop? Hold on. Are we good at pull hopping here? It's hard to play when there's two other rivulets trying to play at the same time. We're just gonna push each other off. That's not the right direction. I'm sorry, I'm not a waterfront believer. I don't know. It's an okay threat theme, but you know, it's never like stood out that much, other than the fact that people love it. Oh my gosh, it's the water threat theme, the waterfront threat theme. Rivulet approaches, bouncing on a pole while spinning. We have like no food. We should probably like get going instead of plinking. We should go to memory crypts. We're going to memory crypts right now. Oh no! Wait, I almost saved it. I mean, actually, not really, but that would have been so cool. Not memory crypts. But that is why we must face our fears. And also because you could do some plinks there too. Yeah, what's wrong with memory crypts? You know, other than the, you know, all the rots. All the rots and the, you know, the DLLs and you know, there's some orange was there too. Hibernate. There's a shelter. We could make it. Okay. We could probably make it to the shelter before shaded, right? I will make it there. If you guys want to go to a different shelter, go ahead. Or the shelter would be a good one. Yeah, let's stay here. Like being applauded after winning a debate competition. That pearl is like the funniest pearl in the whole game. Next to the farm raised one. It's like, wow, these ancients, they were ridiculous. What is going on in here? Hello? Fashion legend. You can go up here. Really, you can go everywhere with the power of planks. Also, I like one of the murals and pebbles that depicts the ancients. One of them is like wearing just like sneakers, just straight up. No, my wall pants. So if you can get to a shelter, I recommend doing that. Like all the masks and like other stuff. One of the ancients that like, or I guess not just one, but you know, some of them wore masks so large they could not fit through some doorways. That is mentioned in one of the pearls. I thought the industrial pearl. I've spent a little bit too much time reading the pearls recently, I think. That jellyfish is kind of going crazy. Ow. Forcefully put to sleep. Oh, there we go. Now the shelter is closing. We are across the river and have kicked out the boat. Yep. Oh, you're gonna have to get over here now. I guess everyone else is just a speedrunner then. They were able to make it to the shelter. Oh no. What was that? Wait, I think you just predicted the future. Are you over here? Oh, you went up really high really quickly. Oh yeah, you're going the right direction. Wait, hello? Oh, I think that is the wrong way, maybe. I like how the jetfish just showed up. We're making our way over to Shaded right now. Ah. Someone ate Moon. Hey, it wasn't me, okay? Ouch. Oh, you didn't expect that, huh? It's actually funny. I think points are way more consistent than I thought they were. Like, that was a really good point that I just did right there. That worked out. What is happening? Oh, it's a desync. Oh, you're getting eaten by kelp. Frosted Festival? Like flipping out of bounds? What is happening? Super death? We have found the solution. Oh yeah, let's go to the gate. Echo. This is the process of becoming an echo. Do we have a problem here? Oh my goodness. I feel like this is dangerous. Tearing reality apart. Oh, hi, kelp. Here, let's just stand at the gate. Let's stand at the gate. There's a chance this crashes the game if it actually opens the gate. Oh, it's working. It's working. Stand still. Taking your kelp for a walk. Think it's working. Maybe he wants to leave the game. It seems a bit broken. Why that the kelp came with you? Karma level 11. Oh no, not this again. Okay, yeah, we could just shelter, I guess. Some bee glitch. I actually saw a clip of someone in, you know that room in Sky Islands where you enter the pipe going up and then there's two pole plants right next to you? They got grabbed by a pole plant and then they went into the pipe next to them, and what happened is I think they just got teleported back, or no, I forget. Some weird interaction happened with the pole plants. What is gonna happen now? Oh, surprisingly normal. No, let's just shelter, just shelter. There's some weirdness going on. Also, I have not set it to low latency. Although I guess if you're on Twitch, it's not as big of a problem. I guess YouTube probably has more delay. It's harder to communicate. Hopefully, it's not that bad. Hello? Okay. Taking a while. And also, I think it's safe to wait until we're all here before we go to the gate. I don't know if it will work. Go. Yeah, it's all fixed now. I mean, I think there's some kelp on the path we're going to next. I think I'm going to end the stream when we make it to the leg. So I'd like to at least make it through memory crypts, because that'd be funny. A squad of rivulets. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, some creatures, like, it doesn't register that you stab them. Oh, this guy would just probably hate us. I just realized. Oh, that's another death. Yeah, like, we kind of killed an entire scavenger troll. That's probably not good for our reputation. So maybe best to just avoid them, really. Oh, yeah. It's down here. Memory crypts. The spider gonna... It takes a while for the hits to actually register. I'm not even sure if it's dead now. Hey, you can't hit me with that rock. Oh no! I was stunned, I couldn't do anything. So I decided to do a plank. Well, it worked the first time, but no. Oh, it didn't notice me. Well, we have plenty of karma flowers. I shouldn't... I shouldn't have eaten that one. So it would have been here next cycle. Although, I think it's unlikely that we die. Oh no, it's happening again. Yo, wait, that was perfect. That was such a good point. Some sort of like quantum displacement. Can you get to the next room? We could try sheltering here. One last time. Oh, is that a disconnection? Oh yeah, shelter in this one. Right before memory crypts. Yeah, okay. I didn't really pay attention to passage progress. Nomad, yeah, not much. Yep, we're all here. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna be ending the stream pretty soon anyway. I usually go for about 3 hours. Depending on how I feel. You could chain another one. Hold on. I mean, it's pointless. Oh yeah, the stupid water. This is like the worst water in the whole game. Like, why is it here just to ruin your perfect place to do an E-slide? He all jumps out. Like, oh, we could do a plank here. I think it's too shallow unless the water was like it went up. Someone could try to like jump in the water to make it wave up and down, and then someone else could try to plank. Oh. Yeah. Man, I don't know how. Oh, this is kind of working. Yeah. Oh, was that an almost plank? Or in garbage wastes. Yellow lizard. It's funny that shows up for random creatures too. Oh no, was that a plink? I'm not sure. Hello. Oh, was that a flashbang? Off screen. Damn, the massacre. How'd that happen? Yeah, I don't think this is gonna happen, I'll be honest. Oh, okay, that actually is kind of bright. Nice collision. You can do a backflip by running into this wall. How to get in there? It's literally just not a wall. You just walk. There's a lot of collision, like, out of bounds. There's water. Rivulets when they see the like a drop of water on the floor. That might have been a plank. And get the water going a little bit. I don't think this would work. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh no. Why are there 4 of them? They got duplicated. There's just a little bit of rot in this room. And get out as quickly as you can. Oh! And once again, probably too shallow. Oh gosh. Yeah, stay away from that. Is it the start of this room or the next room where you actually can do a plank? Going the other direction, of course. Is it this? Is it this? This also looks too shallow. Oh! Okay. Am I gonna land in the rot pile? I'm off camera. Oh no. Well. See if you guys can make it the rest of the way. I don't actually think I've died yet. The rot consumes. It's funny when there's a lot of people who get together. Starve effect? Oh no, was that it right there? Well, there we go. Well, can't that totally happen in a run? That does not look like a consistent method for a speedrun. Well, I guess we made it to the, or we. I want to see if the gate works. At least try to enter the gate. But there's a decent chance that it will not open. Yippee. Yeah, it did make a sound for a little bit. I'm going to I don't like the rain sound. It's a bit loud. Okay, we both did a plunk in memory crypts and we both died to rot on the opposite side of the room after doing it. Unfortunately, it seems like the biggest problem with meadow is still, well, the biggest problem that I have with it is just like there's still a lot of the inconsistencies with gates not working, and I got the mod to try to fix it and it just didn't seem to actually do anything. Because it'd be nice, like, if everyone else dies and you're the only one left, and you still manage to make it through gates to the next region, like, that'd be great. But it just doesn't work, you know? So I think it is possible to do a point here. It's just, dependent on the waves. Well, it's a death already, apparently. Yeah, that helps, that helps. There's multiple DLLs again. That's nice. Oh, that's good. That's a good wave. Yeah. I'll try to time it. If you run a little bit further. Cooperative flanking. I don't see this happening. Whoa. Wait, what was that? Oh, was that in... What was that? was that in this little pocket? How does this even happen? I did see it happen though. You did go through the floor. I'm just kind of spamming keys. I guess I'll be... Hey, there we go. Right as I walk onto the screen. Maybe it's easier if you're going diagonally. Hey! I also got it. I didn't go up though. New strat? This is not the new strat. that's like a task strategy. Like point perfectly so that you like hit the ceiling and then slide across without getting stunned. You would definitely get stunned if you did that though. Anyway, I'm probably going to actually I'm definitely going to end stream here. If you guys just want to mess around, I guess. At the gate. just speed ran over there. Well, thanks for joining, everyone. If you're just watching the stream, if you're lurking, if you decide to join the lobby. And thanks for talking with me about Rain World lore, even though it's a very large, confusing mess. I think we do kind of have the theory that the iterators were created to help ascend all living things, but then the ancients became impatient, so they just decided to jump into the void sea anyway, or I guess just void fluid in general. And then the iterators becoming frustrated, maybe some of them turned their efforts into trying to ascend themselves instead of everything at which is like what Pebbles does, you know. Right as pictures of the past start playing, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. See ya.